We have been home for a couple of weeks from our amazing road trip across Canada, and, well, we did a thing.
Before we talk about this thing that we did, we felt like it was important to talk about how we got here in the first place. If you're one of those people that needs an instant payoff, you can click on this timestamp right here to get to the heart of the video, but we feel like this is a story that's best told in chronological order. Our story starts at the beginning of the year 2020 when we gave up everything to travel the world for an entire year.
We gave up our apartment, we sold our cars, and we dropped Sophie off at the grandparents, packed our bags, and hit the road.
Our travels were going great until about 5 weeks after leaving, the virus that cannot be named cut our travels short. But we were not ready to cut our travels that short. We had planned for an entire year, and on the internet we had seen people living this thing called van life, and we decided maybe we should give it a try.
We honestly never thought van life would be something that we'd be interested in, so we made the low-cost investment of purchasing a minivan and turning it into a camper for 2 months on the road.
The reason we decided to buy a minivan is, like Kirsten said, we weren't sure how much we were gonna like van life, but we also wanted a vehicle that we could turn into a commuter vehicle.
Or at least to have a vehicle to visit the grocery store.
So we converted our minivan into a camper that didn't really have any frills. We were able to make a full plank platform bed, but everything else had to be done outside of the vehicle. That meant cooking, that meant showering, and also use the bathroom.
And as you can tell, it's middle of October and it's gotten quite cool here in Ontario, and back out west there's a foot of snow. So living out of this minivan in those types of weather conditions was never going to happen.
COVID taught us a very interesting lesson, and that's the lesson of not knocking things until you try it. I personally did not feel like I was going to enjoy minivan life. As it turns out, I liked it maybe even more than international travel. We tried so many things that we wouldn't have done otherwise, like hiking up mountains and boondocking on the side of desolate rivers in the middle of nowhere, and I had more enjoyment than I ever thought I would.
After 2 months, we really did not want to go home. Honestly, I felt like we had to drag ourselves home, and so home we went with motivation to do this again, only to do it better.
So that leads us into that thing that we did.
So after much consideration, we decided to purchase a cargo van. We could not be more excited to turn this cargo van into our future tiny home on wheels, which we are deep in the planning stages to do so. We want to turn this into everything we wish our minivan was, and even more.
We purchased a mid-roof Ford Transit with the 148-inch wheelbase, although not the extended version of the vehicle, as we can still stand up in the vehicle, and we don't feel like we're gonna have to worry about the height going under overpasses and pulling into gas stations to get gas. There was a few features that any van we were gonna purchase just had to have. One of those was all-wheel drive, and with this vehicle having it, we think we're gonna be able to explore deeper into the backcountry than ever before. We also had to have a vehicle with rear windows, not just because you can see out the back of the vehicle, but it also lets in so much more natural light. We also needed a backup camera, and this backup camera is a very wide angle, and it allows us to see all around, so we don't have to worry when flipping our van into reverse. This vehicle is going to tick all the boxes of everything we ever wanted, with one exception. We were really hoping our vehicle would have cruise control, but I think it's something that we can sacrifice because it literally has everything else we wanted and nothing that we didn't want. Thank you to everybody who has supported us on Patreon this far. It means a ton to us. We want to provide you guys with extra value, and on Patreon we are going to be very accessible to answer your questions with regards to our travel and our van conversion.
Patreon allows us to connect with you guys more intimately, which is really important to us because this is a massive project for us. We're essentially building our home in a van, and we really love being able to connect with you guys. In the meantime, we can't wait to show you guys the next part of this journey. So we'll see you guys in the next video.